we get asked so many times the questions that how to prepare for Cadet Pilot Program. Okay. What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome back to Pilot Podcast, and we are on episode 15. It's just going great, and thank you for time and again joining us. And your numbers are increasing, and we are really happy with that. Okay, so basically the whole idea is value exchange. Anything that we could get suggestions from content from you, that's great. And whatever that we have to share, we do share every week here, and sometimes we do miss on that.
Yeah.
But that's
Possibly
because
we try to share it every week.
Absolutely.
Yes, we do try. Sometimes the night
your
flights
schedule.
have increased now.
Right.
Nowadays, the flights have increased, and this month I'm flying 90 hours.
That's awesome.
So it's a great side of increase in the number of flying hours as well as the increase in flights. And things are obviously getting back to normal. Everything is getting back to pre-COVID times. And what pilots are looking for, yes, the salaries part, which is there. Most of the airlines are now getting back to their pre-COVID salaries. So that's one of the most exciting part, which everyone is looking forward to, what pilot gets paid for. And yes, now things are on a uptrend. So
Absolutely.
Yes.
So in the middle of the time when things are on uptrend, what we need to do as aspiring pilots is what? Be prepared completely for the interviews and for the assessments, and that's what it is, right?
Yes, right now the number of vacancies like online, I have seen like every month there is a vacancy for type-rated pilots for now.
Yes.
But sooner or later, as we see Akasa flying and Jet Airways soon will fly into the skies, so there would be vacancies for fresh CPL holders as well.
Absolutely.
When the now type-rated pilot vacancies would come first, because and when they are still running short of pilots, then they would come to the CPL pilot holders vacancy, and thereafter then cadet and all those stuff. So whenever there is less requirement, they would first come up with the experienced pilot, which is who are senior first officers, who are ATPL holders. Thereafter, when there is still requirement, then there would be vacancy for type-rated, and then so on.
Sure. So there was a question the other day that I was asked by an aspiring pilot, saying that some airlines are charging huge amount of money, seriously ridiculous amount of money for their this basically airline training. So yes, that was true back in time, and as the competition for recruitment grows within the airlines, I would say, in my opinion, even that should eventually reduce, right? What's your view on that?
Yes, definitely. It's mostly demand and supply.
Absolutely.
So, like few months ago, the supply was very high, and
it still is in a way.
Yes, but people were waiting for like 2 years to get that job. So whoever can arrange that kind of money, they will have no problem in paying it and going through the interviews and getting the job.
Correct.
Right? So the people who would struggle to arrange such a huge amount of money will have no option but to wait. So right now, I think they have a chance to apply for the vacancies. Right?
And again, not all airlines are charging that kind of money, right?
Absolutely.
Like the airlines that Tata owns, they do not charge, right?
Yes.
The other big airlines do not charge like that. There are some notorious airlines that do, right?
Yes.
And the number is as big as 50-70 lakh rupees, right?
Yes, in which you can do your CPL.
So
it's huge.
Correct.
I mean, that does not mean that airline will cover the type rating costs for the pilots.
Absolutely. The type rating cost has to be borne by the pilot himself or herself. So CPL cost and the type rating cost is what a candidate should be prepared for anyway.
Correct.
Whether it is, any conventional or cadet, whichever way it
Correct.
is, these two you have to be prepared for.
Definitely.
So it's like 15 lakhs for the type rating, right? Around. And after that, for the airline training, they also have to pay additional 10 to
So
15
that's
lakhs?
not called as airline training.
Okay.
It is the bridge training. So basically, if in case your candidate is a CPL holder and wants to do the type rating, I think we had discussed this thing.
Yeah,
in
go
the
ahead.
previous-
It's all
yeah.
right.
It's okay.
If in case a candidate is a CPL holder and gets through a job in an airline, then the entire type rating will be taken care by the airline, for which he or she has to spend about 25 to 30 lakhs. If in case the candidate goes for a type rating on his own, then yes, a lot of people must have heard it is about 15 lakhs, 12 to 15 lakhs. So now, why is this difference? When he does the type rating on his own, then gets a job in an airline. So let's say at X place in Europe, that person has done type rating. Okay, so he has done it as per the Airbus standards and Airbus procedures. Okay, now when he comes and joins that airline, then the airline procedures are slightly modified compared to that of the Airbus procedures. Okay, depending on the airline policies.
Yeah, like some airlines have single engine taxi, some airlines have like for an example,
of
right?
takeoff, the thrust reduction altitude, acceleration altitude, these things which are there are different and it can change, okay, depending on the airline policy. And because of that, the airline specific training on that aircraft needs to be done. Or else, if in case that candidate has done rating maybe a year before, okay, so then he has to do those 3 sessions. Okay, more than a year has passed, so he has to do 3 more sessions to keep his type rating current. So if you know, every 6 months as it passes, the number of sessions you need to do to keep your type rating current will increase. If 1 year lapses, then 3 sessions need to be done. If 2 years lapse, then 6 sessions need to be done. If 3 years lapse, then entire type rating, that is 9 sessions plus checks, need to be done again. So basically, that part needs to be done, for which the candidate ends up spending about 10 to 15 lakhs more. So eventually, you end up spending about 25 to 30 lakhs towards type rating, which is a reasonable amount.
Absolutely.
In whether you do it through an airline or you do it yourself and then you get through an airline, then also total comes out to be the same.
Correct.
So that's why the type rating cost, if people say that it's 15 lakhs, no, by the time
But then
you
again,
actually end up
when you
getting
get recruited, it is like basically you do have the job offer from the company.
yes, you have
on
letter
the,
of intent.
yeah. On
You
the
have letter
basis
of
of
intent.
which you do get a loan, right?
Yes.
Like for us, like for cadets, right? We do get, I mean, we do get, we can get a loan, right? Whether someone chooses or not is up to them and their decisions. But once you have that letter from the employer, you do get the training costs loan for training cost, right?
Correct.
So there is that. That was about the cost. And as you train so many students at CNTAA, right?
Yes.
When you train them, what do you think is really the prerequisite in order to decide to join aviation, subjects wise, academics wise, or basic knowledge? What is the knowledge that is required?
Absolutely. See, as a trainee pilot, when you are willing to start your pilot training, then the very first and basic thing which I would expect a student should know is English language proficiency. So I absolutely understand that not everyone comes from the hi-fi family or where they have the background of English medium school or maybe ICSE or CBSE, whichever of these schools.
We ourselves didn't study an English medium.
I myself, Nilay, we both have studied from a vernacular school. Okay, so we were in the Marathi medium school till 10th standard. Only science was in English from 8th onwards. Otherwise, rest all subjects
and
were
maths.
in Marathi.
Yes.
Science and maths,
no one
obviously.
can tell that because like you both studied in a Marathi medium and because you speak very well. Like.
So the thing is, in the beginning, it was not very easy. Yes,
definitely.
we have worked our way through. So it's absolutely okay if someone doesn't know, but you can definitely work hard and then get to know how to get,
and
how to speak and write English well. So yeah, for a pilot, as a trainee pilot, when I speak to the students, and then there are some students who struggle with English speaking or understanding English, and that is something which they have to work on before they start pilot training, because it is extremely important that a pilot knows English well, because we can talk about certain evidences because of which I would think so, because it has happened in the year 1996 that why we emphasize so much on English, and why in pilot profession worldwide the English is a mandatory norm few years ago, and English language proficiency is mandatory for to be a commercial pilot license holder. That is because there has been an accident which has happened in Indian airspace in Delhi, and where the Kazakhstan airplane was asked to clear descent flight level 150, and the Saudi airplane was asked to climb and maintain flight level 140. So Kazakh airplane was not able to understand the air traffic controller's instructions, and he continued to descend below flight level 150. So he came all the way to, close to 14,300 or so. So, and this aircraft kept climbing, at 14,000, flight level 140 and above, and that is the reason why they ended up colliding with each other. Now you would say that why would this happen when the air traffic controllers, in today's date, that there is a mode Charlie transponder with the aircrafts. Okay, back in time, even in Delhi, as a major airport, they did not have the mode Charlie or mode S transponders, because of which they were not able to monitor their altitude. So basically the main reason why we spoke about it, because the Kazakh airplane was not able to understand what flight level he was cleared to. So this is a language barrier which is which is fatal, and that is the reason why eventually the English language proficiency test is made mandatory for everyone, obviously, and then the transponders were introduced, and the things were
a proper understanding of English language is a must to be a pilot. Like when I was training, there was a solo student pilot. He may be from a non-English speaking country, so he was doing his solo flights and I was in the same airspace. So the ATC asked him to do a ride 360, and he was a student. He was doing his.
So brief me more about it. Like runway, downwind, upwind. Where were you?
So he was on the downwind.
Okay.
And I was just departing from the airport.
Okay.
So and there was like 3 to 4 aircrafts in the traffic pattern. So to like increase the separation between the aircrafts, the ATC asked him to do a right 360.
Correct.
Which is very simple. Do just a right turn and just follow the downwind.
Like making a 360 and joining the downwind again.
Yes. So he was a student pilot, so he has to do it by himself. But he was not from English-speaking country. So if he would knew English, he would have turned 360 and he would have followed the ATC instructions, right? But he wasn't able to understand the ATC's instructions.
Correct.
So he just told them unable and he continued downwind. Okay.
Yeah.
So ATC had to like advise other traffic to take a longer route. Okay, for him. So if he would have known what is turn right 360, then the operations for ATC would be smooth, and in case if there is any chance of accident,
right,
that would be avoided.
yeah.
Okay.
Luckily, nothing
luckily
that
nothing
happened.
But precise knowledge of English language is a must.
Mandatory.
That's why in flight schools, like if someone doesn't know English, they spend 2 to 3 months learning English, especially English. And I see people commenting on my YouTube channel, like make videos in Hindi. But English is a language for pilots. So I want all the aspiring pilots, if they know English, that's good. If they want to improve their English, they can watch our channel, they can watch this pilot podcast and learn English.
And that's why we speak in English, right?
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
Definitely that's
Yes.
May I ask you which country that student was from? And which no, I mean, I know that you mentioned non-English speaking country. So in India, metro cities, most of the people speak English.
No, it was not from India.
I'm curious.
It was from China.
Where was it from?
It's from China.
China. Okay. All right.
Yeah. In China, they don't even speak English when they converse with each other. Right? They speak in their own language.
Well, there is no YouTube on China, so you're not gonna get shot or anything. So don't worry about it.
Yeah. YouTube is banned in China, right?
Yeah. YouTube is, Google is, everything is.
Yeah. So they have their own social platforms and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Unless you have a Chinese really close friend, you might want to cut this part, but otherwise, you're good.
I'm all good.
I have no bone to pick against Chinese people. No, not at all. But I mean, all this while when we were there, we were around hundreds of Chinese students.
Yes, definitely.
But we couldn't make friends with one single Chinese student because if we say hello, they didn't know how to reply to it. They didn't know what does hello mean.
Oh my god.
So they don't speak English.
Okay.
They come to the flying school. They go to like 2-3 months of English training and they can speak like basic English. So if you tell them anything which they don't know, then they wouldn't be able to reply.
Like
okay.
We made friends from everywhere in the world, but we couldn't make friends with Chinese. I guess we need to learn Chinese.
Yeah. To learn Mandarin.
Right. So there, it's not a system of flight level 140. They use the metric system. It's
the same with
altitude
Russia.
Altitude in meters.
Yeah.
It's not in feet.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's absolutely different. Like when we say flight level 250, it's not. We have a table which we have to follow. Like we have to keep that table in front of us. What is exactly like altitude, what they want us to maintain. It's not in feet.
Right. Yeah, it's the same with Russia also. Matter of the fact, all the Russian airplanes, their altimeters are in meters. So, so our fighter pilots that fly the MiGs, okay, the old MiGs, okay, they have the altimeter of metric system.
So we have an option to change it in meters, the altimeter.
Right.
It just metric is one option. So it gives us the altitude in meters. So that is...
Makes sense. Absolutely. So English seems to be pretty important, right?
Yeah, and the most important and challenging thing in China, like in Hong Kong and Guangzhou where the flights go, it's about language barrier.
Yeah, sure.
So they have another language, translator who would translate.
Yes, I have heard about it.
Yeah,
like
in English.
They have a translator in the cockpit.
For people, not in the cockpit, in the air traffic control.
Okay.
So for the flights which don't speak in Chinese language.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so Chinese ATC is in Chinese.
Yeah.
Chinese ATC is
in
in Chinese.
So we reply them in English. Then there's a translator sitting in the traffic control. Like ATC tower, he then translate to. So how do they compensate for the delay? Like if there's something emergent?
No. Only for that particular aircraft, then there is a English speaking air traffic controller, and then for rest. So you cannot actually understand what they are talking among themselves, because otherwise, when you are there as a pilot, you are situationally aware by listening to the other aircraft's communication that what is happening around, and know. There you are like, oh my god, you don't know what is happening around.
Correct.
Like I was listening to that, like solo student, right? So if he would be speaking in Chinese, I wouldn't have known.
Exactly. Makes sense.
It reduces.
But don't you think it's important to know each and everything, like to listen to ATC conversations?
Well, it is, but
this is how it is.
Okay.
Assuming that the whole domestic traffic speaks in Chinese, it might be okay with them, and the basically proportion of non-Chinese speaking traffic would be relatively very less. And that's why they might get away with it, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so that was English, right? And then apart from English, like as the DGCA requires English proficiency and physics and maths pass in 12th. So what level of physics is actually expected when you teach your students, when they ask you their doubts, when you solve their doubts? What level of physics, what level of maths is expected?
So it is not a very, very complex physics and maths required for students to know for pilot training point of view, but very basic, if you consider mathematics, then yes, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, which is very basic, which is in primary school that we learn, and the trigonometry basic, like sine, cos, tan.
Yes.
That's the basic functions which a student should know. Other than that, if you talk about physics, and if you're learning technical, then yes, the forces, how they act, and then that's how the aircraft moment, and then the flap extensions, and how the aircraft is controlled. It is easier if he knows the understanding of forces and moments. That's one thing.
Yes, I have seen.
Other than that, not like very much in detail and depth of,
and whatever the relevant concepts are there, or the ones that you teach the students, right? From scratch, right?
Yes, from scratch.
Makes sense. Absolutely.
Yes. I have seen like students, they are basically scared of the integration and the derivatives.
That is
not required. To be a pilot,
yes,
right?
not absolutely not.
I was really bad at it.
I mean,
absolutely not.
It's just lengthy. There's nothing like too complex about it. But people who are from commerce background, or people who don't like yourself, like integration and derivatives, it can be tough. But
I don't know how I passed engineering maths. Like I somehow did on the basis of statistics, basically the probability and matrices and all of those things. But it was rough.
Yes, I mean there are people who are not well versed with trigonometry as well. But in pilot training, it's just basic like sine, cos, tan, and you have in maths like fuel, distance calculation, then
that's
your speed conversion,
multiplications and addition.
So it's basically
nothing
addition
much.
and
Division.
subtraction, multiplication. Nothing like integration.
No, absolutely not.
Yep. Definitely. But then when we speak about maths, verbal maths is kinda important.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yes,
more than the depth in maths, it's more about the speed of doing maths, right?
Yes.
Like calculations. You need to be able to do certain calculations in your head without thinking, or basically without actually using calculator or anything.
Yes.
Like such as what is the
descent
fuel
planning?
Descent planning,
fuel
or
consumption.
glide distance and all of those things,
these
right?
Things, yes.
So these things happen in the head, and in a way, again, so we get asked so many times the questions that what how to prepare for Cadet Pilot Program.
Yes,
okay?
we do that.
We have to say that we are legally bound to not disclose the assessment process of Cadet Pilot Program. We cannot. Okay. What was asked, we cannot discuss. We'd love to tell you had it been in any other circumstances, but we are law-abiding citizens. We won't break those laws, right? So how much ever you ask any cadet, okay, that what was asked, if he or she tells you it's illegal, okay, so it's just not doable. But it's more than knowing what was asked, okay, more than knowing what was the topic of discussion, or what were the questions in the interview, what was the kind of I would say what
questions asked in the personal interview,
even the aptitude test.
Yes.
Okay, we can discuss those things, right? We cannot. But what actually made us get through wasn't actually any of that. Was developing ourselves into a person that could do those things.
Absolutely.
Right? So any of you develops yourself to be a person who could get through those things. Any of you who decides to actually cultivate and integrate those character traits that a pilot has within themselves before you get to that assessment, okay?
Absolutely.
There is no chance of failure.
Correct.
Like legit, there is no chance of failure. And this is, I'm speaking from the heart. I'm not making this up or anything. That is exactly what I did. There was no specific, actually, I would say, preparation that I did. Okay. The preparation was building myself to be a person like her. Okay. And that is the reason we can blame nepotism or this and that, but it is all not true. The point is the students that are actually that have someone in the family who is a pilot is seeing a person in the family every other day that what kind of person I want to become, and that being the actually light source for them, the learning source for them, everything. Okay, what happens is they become person like a pilot is before they are actually a pilot. Okay, and that makes them easier to crack the interviews, to crack the assessments.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there is no cheat code for the knowledge. Knowledge has to be there. Knowledge has to be studied. The work has to be done. Okay. But what kind of a person that you need to become, what character traits you need to have, okay, is something that you need to look for. There's something that you need to, as simple as Google or be on this podcast. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, I'll stop my rant. And
that is so true. Like very well said.
Yeah, actually.
I'll stop my rant, but no, it was something that I really, I mean, it came to me that no, it's you think that only pilots family members become pilots. No, it's nothing like that. Yeah, it's easier for them because they have been seeing a person who is a pilot, okay, and they know what they have done. They know what kind of life they live, okay. Like a pilot, in most cases, won't break rules. Decide from today, you won't break rules. Yeah? Okay? That is a prerequisite to become a pilot in a way, right? If you do that, okay, and learn so many other character traits, like being decisive, not be confused, not take the shortest amount of time to make a decision, because making any decision, okay, requires information, not time. Okay, any decision. Okay.
Yes.
If there is a lack of information, then get information as fast as possible. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So nepotism and all, don't give yourself those excuses. Okay. Like, it doesn't help. It seriously doesn't. Okay. And I believe and would like to believe that world day by day is becoming more, basically world day by day is giving more opportunities, right?
Yes, that is true.
Okay. So if you are good, you are going to get it, right? And
Absolutely.
there is no doubt about it. So decide to become a person who is a pilot, okay, before you go for that assessment. That's the 2 cents I would have, honestly, nothing beyond that. And yeah.
Absolutely. For me, it was absolutely no one before.
Yeah.
So in that case, I had to literally search everywhere. Back then, when I was becoming a pilot, the internet was not as much and as flooded as it is today, with so much of content that is there on YouTube, on Google. So when I was becoming a pilot, then I have actually read books, whichever books were available for to be a great pilot.
Yeah.
What are the requirements a pilot should have?
What is the attitude?
In terms of attitude, in terms of the traits, what you should develop.
Yeah.
And no one is born with those traits. You need to develop those traits.
Yeah.
Like, for example,
I'd like to say something. People are not born with it, but in the family of a pilots, people are nurtured with it, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So when someone is nurtured, that becomes their integral part,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And people that do not come from aviation background, they have to nurture themselves. So if you are a pilot's basically family member, yeah, you know it, you might already be that person. If you are not, yeah, Google. Simple.
Yes, and we are here to tell you all the traits that you need to develop.
Yeah.
Like,
yes, and instead of focusing on nepotism, if you spend the same amount of time in building yourself, you would move closer to your goal to become a pilot.
Yes.
So there will be people who are born in pilot's family can only become a pilot.
Yeah.
Yes.
People who are born in rich family can only become a pilot.
Yeah.
But it's not like that, right? We have seen Captain
Absolutely.
Nikita in the previous podcast.
Yes.
She was from a small village in Haryana and she became a pilot. Okay.
Right.
So if you focus on the positives, if you focus on building yourself,
Right.
definitely you will be able to achieve your goal sooner or later.
Absolutely. So it's like you need to develop, and don't think that other subordinates and other colleagues of yours as your competition. If you are good, try to be the best among all. If you're good, absolutely you're going to get through.
Absolutely.
So back in time when I got through my present airline, that time you won't believe, but there were 4,000 applicants.
Yeah.
You know, the applicants from 2008 were stuck, and now they are getting an
First
opportunity to make a first application which would be accepted in the largest airline in India.
Correct.
Now, because earlier not everyone who was applying was getting a roll number to even appear for the exam in an airline. This was the first time whoever would apply would get an opportunity.
Right.
So I was like, I don't want to leave this.
Yeah.
Now, out of 4,000 pilots, which were unemployed back then, the vacancy was for 400 pilots.
That was still big.
Now,
400.
But out of 4,000. So this is how much? 10%.
10%.
Okay.
Yes.
So you have to be the best among all. Okay. You do whatever you have with you, with the current resources in that 1 month to prove yourself.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I'm not bragging, but yes, it's a humble brag that I was selected in the first 20 batch.
That's awesome.
So that was the thing. So the selection process went on for 6 months.
Correct.
Because I was in first 20, I got to complete it in 6 months. The one who got in the last 20, their selection process went on for 2 years. Like their selection process got over in 2 years because it takes that much time to complete the whole process.
The slots are allocated.
Yes, according to the slots. So then got through, and thereafter I was like, I'm going to do absolutely everything that is possible to expedite my process and to become a first officer, then a captain, and so on. So it's like you have to be the best among all. You don't have to compete what others are doing. You just have to do your thing with your level best.
Yes, and back then, to be the best, you should have been reading books, going through like various articles and things. But right now, it's very easy to be the best because you have everything at your fingertips, right? If, let's see, for an example, if there's two students, okay, one student who regular watches Pilot podcast, and other student, he just surfs on Netflix watching TV shows and stuff. So in the interview, the student who watches Pilot podcast, if there's a technical term, and he would have heard it on the Pilot podcast, it would be easy for him to answer that question.
Absolutely.
Okay. So if you study, if you look out on the internet for the stuff related to aviation, then you're gonna like improve day by day. It won't happen immediately, right? With each day, your progress would improve to be the best.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Basically, it is like, if you engross your mind into it before any assessment, right? Like assessment or any goal that you are pursuing, right? Same goes with the becoming a pilot goal, right? I remember in the times when we got through before that, okay, I would read about pilots, okay? I would watch pilot contents, and matter of the fact, I would even dream in the night about the same. Okay, so that much is mind engrossed into it, that you are just doing that. Okay, there are no other diversions, no other priorities, no nothing. This is what I wanna become, right?
You need to be crazy driven with that goal.
And you change in a way yourself. Right?
Absolutely.
Basically, what is required.
Correct.
Okay, some people say, no, I'm not like that. Okay, I cannot do that. That is not what the job requires. You need to be the person that the job demands you to be, right?
Yes.
You can't do anything else, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, coming back to mental math. Mental math. So yeah, it's the speed of doing maths is important, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like in plane, when we go for check ride, right? We don't have time to operate the calculator. So if we go to operate the calculator and give the answer after that, we would reach the airport because plane, like we would cruise at like 90-100 knots and we don't have that much time. So in check ride, basically the examiner checks on like how much time would you need to reach the airport and how much fuel you are going to burn, right? So we have to give that answer by calculating mentally because we don't have time to like take out the calculator from the bag and then calculate and then give him the answer. By the time we would reach the airport, we need to contact them for
you need to be ahead of the aircraft mentally.
Yes.
Because aircraft flies very fast. So you need to be ahead of the game.
So the maths is not that complex, but you need to be quick in doing the maths.
Quick and correct.
Yes, quick and correct. And it's basic, just addition, subtraction and multiplication, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, and like we missed on certain things and in the character traits and stuff. So character traits like quick decision making. Then name something else. What you would consider is
the right attitude, patience. Like because we have seen the largest crash in in aviation history, the Pan Am Air. Okay, that was I think it was due to lack of patience, right? Okay, so patience is there. Then responsibility, you need to be responsible,
definitely,
okay, for your actions. So like you cannot go to a flight with like 2 to 3 hours of sleep. You need proper rest because you have a responsibility of transporting certain number of passengers from point A to B safely.
Punctuality, sense of urgency,
right? Correct. You need to be situationally aware.
Yes, that is important.
Very important because things are changing every second.
Correct.
Yes.
Like all the parameters of the flight are changing, like altitude, speed, attitude, engine parameters, your navigation, everything is, you need to monitor.
Yes,
so
I think situational awareness, it comes handy when there's some emergency, because like mostly during an emergency, because if you're flying a certain path and there's certain emergency, behind your head this is the nearest airport, right?
Yeah, that's
so you
situational.
directly divert and that you make a quick informed decision, right?
Yeah.
Because of your situational awareness.
Yeah. Cool.
So even in normal operations, it is quite
Yeah, Bolo. Go ahead. I'm just stretching my back. I cannot even stretch my back or what.
in the normal operations as well, situational awareness is extremely important, because if in case sometime if air traffic controller has given certain instruction and you see that there is other aircraft coming in over there, and you might have to consider stopping there even if you have got the clearance.
Yes, definitely.
So you cannot, apart from that, you're on the approach, you need to know whether the aircraft is descending at the correct rate of descent, maintaining correct speed, and all of these things which are changing. Yes, you need to be situationally aware, which is very important trait which you should develop. If
Yes, like air traffic controllers are humans as well, so they can make mistakes as well. So if a pilot is situationally aware, they can avoid any accident or incident because of air traffic controllers' mistake, in case they make a mistake.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, human error can be there.
Yeah. So those are the character traits, and it's not just knowing them, but actually bringing those to your behavior, right?
Absolutely.
And also another thing that, as you discussed just now, that there was a huge competition, right? Yeah, there is a competition even right now, right?
Yes,
massive
every day,
competition. But then again, when it is a competition, it shouldn't so happen like a sense of enmity should not be there,
absolutely,
right?
Yeah,
like everyone should be willing to help each other, and that is one of the attitude that is important in order to actually get to any airline, right?
Absolutely.
Because when we speak about CRM, right, crew resource management and multi-crew cockpit and all of those things, right, honestly respecting your colleague and being willing, basically not being willing to help your colleagues, like we help each other so much every now and then. And like now there is actually another friend of ours who is also a cadet pilot sitting, okay. We won't disclose the name, okay, unless you want to say something. Yeah, no comments was he had a lot to talk about, but okay.
So basically when it is a multi-crew cockpit, it's not about showing each other's mistakes in the cockpit. It's about the goal of both the pilots should be to conduct the flight safely. So it is about what needs to be corrected rather than who has to correct it, or you did this or you did that. No, it's about what has to be changed. Okay, so it should not be taken in an offensive way either by the other pilot. If in case there has been mistakes happen, everyone does mistakes. There is nothing wrong in doing that, but as long as it doesn't breach the safety of the flight, it doesn't go, the parameters of the flight are not exceeded in terms of whatever it has to be, then it's absolutely okay. So it has to be said in a polite manner and not in a offending way. So that is something.
It reminds me of one more character trait, which is accepting their own mistake.
Absolutely.
If they make one, right?
Absolutely.
So if they accept the mistake and then they ask someone to correct it and how they can improve it, that's one more character trait of a pilot, right?
There should not be macho attitude, like I am the one, I know everything. Okay, so
basically,
that shouldn't be there.
A thumb rule that I used to consider for myself is when in aircraft, no emotional decision making, only rational decision making. It helps even otherwise outside the aircraft without a doubt, like even in many things it helps, but no emotional decision making. He said this, then I said this and that, and no, not happening. Okay?
Yeah.
If someone else is acting that way, neutralize yourself. Okay? Just make sure the aircraft gets to the ground safe. Right? Like especially in training, because
absolutely.
So no emotional decisions in the aircraft. Absolutely no. Right? Yeah, cool. And again, today's competition might be colleagues of yours tomorrow. So behave. Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
and help everyone. Like seriously, it is the best thing that you could do to others and yourself. Primarily yourself. Right? So help others. I think, anything else for today, or we'll wrap it up sooner today? What's that?
Yeah.
That's one
so
more, I guess. Teamwork.
Yeah, teamwork.
Teamwork.
Go ahead. Yeah, Chintan. Teamwork. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's one more character trait that is teamwork. So while doing certain tasks, it is very important for each and everyone to contribute to reach the result of that task, because the primary person of group discussion in an airline assessment is to reach at a certain point collectively.
Right.
Okay. So you can be the leader. You need to work. If you are a leader, you need to work together as a team to achieve a desired result.
Yeah.
Okay. And
absolutely.
in the airline assessment, there is group discussion, okay, in which this quality is tested.
Yes.
Yeah. Sure.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Problem solving and decision making.
Yes.
Yeah.
Any recruitment, there is a group discussion. Actually,
Yes.
like corporate recruitments, there is a group discussion. So in engineering, do you remember we used to have one subject known as, basically it was the subject of communication skills, and in which there was a chapter of brainstorming.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes. I think it was personality development something. I don't remember the subject.
Yeah. I mean, bad. Even I'm bad with that. Like seriously, somehow did engineering. No, I mean, I might be bad at integrations. I might be bad at whatever. Let's say the derivatives. Okay, I was okay at structure. Yeah, I was okay at structures. What I was good at was the business. Okay. Regardless, so communication skills. We had this brainstorming. Okay. Know about this subject, okay? Brainstorming sessions, okay? If you study this part, what is a brainstorming session? It prepares a person a lot for any kind of group discussion, recruitment group discussion. And when we apply for any job, the intention is to serve to the company. Make yourself clear that how you could be of value, how you could be a valuable asset to the company, and integrate that in the behavior, and that is all. Okay, we cannot go into specifics of the assessment. We cannot. Okay, we legally cannot. Okay, no pilot should. Okay, so we won't, but this is really helpful. Like honestly, this is how I got it. Okay, 6 months, 8 months, just this. What is behavior of a pilot, and I want to behave like that naturally, not just to act, not just to portray, but naturally. Okay, yeah. And then there is this verbal math that we discussed about, the other character traits that we discussed about. Okay, get yourself closer to a pilot. Okay, if you are a CNTAA student, you would be communicating with Capt.Neha every now and then, right? Okay. Any questions that what's going on? How is it going? Okay. Any daily you send everyone morning updates,
Morning
right?
message.
Right.
Motivating messages.
Yeah, motivating messages and stuff, right? All of those things. Okay. Study how pilots live, how pilots behave, how they make decisions, and yeah, you'll be there. It's not that hard. Nothing is hard, nothing is easy. It just requires the amount of work that the profession expects, right?
Absolutely. Yep. It's going to be challenging in the beginning when you think of developing these skills at once. Then yes, you don't get it that easy. You have to every time work on it and consciously put an effort to make it better every other day than your previous day.
Absolutely.
So improve like 1% each day. So within a span of 6 to 8 months, that thing will be naturally inside you. Qualities would be naturally inside you.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yep.
And monitor the progress each and every day.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
I mean, honestly, I just said that it's not that hard, but looking when we were at a point when we were preparing for the cadet pilot assessments and everything, it is really hard, right?
Yes.
Because the uncertainty makes it hard.
Absolutely.
Any pursuit of anything in life.
Absolutely.
Looking back, once you achieve that, it seems in the hindsight that it was all okay.
Yes.
It
I
seems
also
like
feel that sometimes. Because you are so engrossed in preparing for the interview, you are so engrossed in the process that you don't feel like you are working hard, but actually you are working so hard to get that thing done.
And now looking back, it actually doesn't seem that difficult, but when there is a quotient of uncertainty into doing something, whether this is gonna work or not, right? Like I'm preparing, I don't have a direction how to prepare. I don't know how to prepare.
Correct.
Because nobody told me that how to prepare actually.
Correct.
Seriously, because Capt.Neha did her pilot training in conventional pathway. I was doing cadet pilot pathway. Chintan was doing cadet pilot pathway. We didn't know how to prepare, right?
Yes,
We were just figuring out how to prepare, right? And that quotient of uncertainty makes it really difficult.
Correct.
Right. So
like however much you prepare for the interview, you feel you have left some part, and you study more for it. And with each day you study so many things,
right?
And you are just uncertain, like what will they ask.
Correct. Absolutely. So when I was preparing for my airline exam, so back then I was preparing from the evening 5 o'clock till night 2-3 o'clock. And then in the morning I used to teach students for the same exam. So I was like, I mean, it was not like I didn't consider them as my competitors. I was training them for the same exam that I myself was also appearing for. So
did they get through?
Yes. Some of them did.
All right. Yeah, here it is. So if you are an aspiring pilot, if you are looking to join a cadet pilot program, just go over this episode and understand it rather than just listening to it. Okay.
Absolutely.
That was about it. Make your meanings out of it and work on your perceived perception. So what I'm talking, I don't know. Okay. So make the meanings out of what we just said. Put your thought to what we just said. Okay. Understand it. Okay. And start working on it. Okay. So if you work on it, you can. It's gonna be hard. It's not gonna be easy. Definitely it's not. But the reason that you desire it so much, the reason that we want to achieve something is in a way because it is hard. If it were easy, everyone would be a pilot, right? Everyone would be. Many people want to become pilot. They don't become because they don't give what it takes, right? So if you do give what it takes, you will definitely become a pilot without a doubt. Apart from that, if you are waiting on the cadet pilot assessments or something, okay, make sure to get your DGCA exams cleared, right?
Yes, you can
like
clear your DGCA exams.
Chintan cleared his DGCA exams after he came from the US. I cleared before going there. So what do you recommend?
I recommend to clear these exams before you start any kind of flying, because once you are done with flying, you have 6 months window to submit your papers for CPL. So if someone is not able to clear the DGCA exams or get the RTR in those 6 months, they have to fly additionally like 15 to 20 hours, which is called as recency. So to avoid that and avoid mistakes which I have done, I advise you guys to clear the DGCA exams. And if you don't know where you want to prepare for DGCA exams, you can sign up on CNTAA online.in, and Capt.Neha will guide you for the same.
Yep, absolutely. If you are an aspiring pilot, if you are done with 10+2 with physics, maths and English, and if you consider yourself to be medically fit and you're strongly willing to become a pilot, then subscribe for this channel. No, subscribe anyway. If you are an aspiring pilot, if you strongly wish to become a pilot, you are done with 10+2 with physics, maths and English, okay? Yeah, and if you consider yourself to be medically fit, then sign up for CNTAA online, okay, as Chintan said, okay, and we strongly believe in it, and we strongly believe that it will help you, okay, not only help you to get the DGCA exams done, but it will help you for most things in your pilot career, okay. So sign up for CNTAA online, and
yes, thank you everyone for watching this podcast till here. Hope you learned something new, and if you're waiting for the CPP to open, I think it should open like hopefully by next year.
Absolutely.
Right? So till then you can clear your DGCA exams and the RTR exams.
Absolutely.
If you have any suggestions for any guests, please. We'll try to get in touch with them. We'll try to match timings with them, and if Capt.Neha and the guest could match their timings, sure.
Absolutely. Hope you have enjoyed this podcast, and we look forward to see you on the next one. Make the most use of this podcast, and you will be better prepared to as a aspiring pilot as well as going forward in your pilot career. Thank you very much. Have a good one. Bye-bye.